Hi everyone, my name is Tina and I'm a second year studying molecular environmental bio, psych, and math, and I am one of the organizers for this program. Congratulations on your acceptance to the #1 public university in the world, Go Bears, and welcome to our virtual overnight stay program, or OSP. We are so excited to welcome you to our school. This event was made possible by the Cal Alumni Student Association, or CASA. We are the flagship student group for alumni and students to connect. We host various programming events and resources for the Cal community as a continuation of our tradition of cultivating the top leaders at Berkeley. Some of our previous events include holding a 2-day overnight stay program, hosting coffee chats, and organizing career development panels with alumni. Thank you so much for coming. And with that, I will pass it over to Gabby.
Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon from wherever you're coming in from. We're so excited to have you here. Go Bears. Congratulations on your admissions to Cal. So I just want to go over some of the logistics for today's event. As you know, it is a full day event. So please, reminder just to mute yourself unless you're called on to speak. Keep your videos on if you can. We would love to see your faces. We're so happy to have you here. Feel free to type any questions you have in the chat, especially when we're in the smaller groups. Feel free to have some fun in the chat, get to know one another, but when we're in the larger groups, try to keep it professional. Feel free to eat throughout the day, do what you need to keep yourself going. If you need to get a sip of water, please feel free to do so. This is very informal. We just want to make sure that you're having a great time. I also want to acknowledge that this is a completely student-run event. We're so grateful for the professional staff, professors, and various people all over campus who have helped to support us, but students are full on organizing this event. So it's fully student curated, and we want to make sure that you have the best time. So please just wanted to acknowledge that. If there's any technical things that go on throughout the day, please just be patient with us. One last thing, I'm going to send it out in the chat right now. We do have a mailing list. So if you want to come to our events in the future, I'm going to send out in the chat right here. It's bit.ly/email CASA. You can sign up for our mailing list there so you can come to our future events. And yes, thank you so much for being here. One last thing I wanted to mention, we also have social media. You should check us out on social media, CASA_UC Berkeley on Instagram. I'll put that in the chat right now. I think that's what it is. That's it, right? I believe so. CASA_UC Berkeley. And you can also like us on Facebook. And please, if you're posting throughout the day about coming to OSP, feel free to tag us in all of your posts, and we can't wait to see them. Now I'm going to pass it back to Tina.
Thank you, Gabby. So now it is my great pleasure to introduce Professor Robert J. Birgeneau. Professor Birgeneau became the 9th Chancellor of the University of California, Berkeley on September 22, 2004, serving until May 31, 2013. An internationally distinguished physicist, he is a leader in higher education and is well known for his commitment to diversity and equity in the academic community. During his service as Chancellor, Professor Birgeneau strengthened UC Berkeley's standing as one of the top universities in the world. Under his leadership, Berkeley became the first university in the United States to offer comprehensive financial aid to undocumented students and the first public university to provide significant financial aid to middle-class students. Please join me in welcoming Professor Birgeneau.
First of all, it's great to see you all virtually. I think I see we've got 185 students altogether, a few of our own Berkeley students, but a huge number of students who have been admitted to our great university. Besides being a top university, and I'll talk about that a little bit more shortly, we're also arguably the most egalitarian university in the United States and possibly in the world. This has significance for all of you admitted students because it means that you're admitted not because your parents are rich, not because your parents are politicians with influence, not because your parents tried to bribe a coach, but because you deserve to be admitted. So you can feel comfortable and you can feel good that you got in here on your own merits, and we decided that we would love to have you as a student based on the person that you are. So you already heard that.
Interesting.
You already heard that, and you know that Berkeley is one of the best universities, not just in the US, frankly, but in the world. It also happens to be one of the very best, if not the best, public universities, but it's best in absolute terms as well, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. So you're sitting there saying, well, of course, he's a former chancellor and he's a professor, of course, at Berkeley. Of course, he's going to tell us, how great Berkeley is. I think I have a little bit more cred than than some of the people that you'll talk to as you go to other universities, because I've had a relatively long career, and in sequence, I've been on the faculty or did research first at Yale, then at Oxford, then for a long time at MIT, then at the University of Toronto, which is Canada's equivalent of Berkeley, and for the last 17 years here at Berkeley. So I've been a teacher and an administrator at many of the universities you may well have applied to or been admitted to. These are all great universities. I'm not going to say anything negative about any of them. It would be curmudgeonly on my part, but I can tell you that of the different places I've been, I've enjoyed my life at Berkeley the most. And because I like the students, and the faculty are approachable, and here in the physics department, they're unusually collegial. So, I came here 17 years ago, as I said, and there were about 50 people in my department. We do research together, we have students together, we collaborate all the time. And of my 50 fellow faculty members since I came here, 3 separately have won the Nobel Prize. See how many physics professors you talk to where a significant fraction of their friends on the faculty have won Nobel Prizes. I might also, and this year, of course, Reinhard Genzel won the Nobel Prize for discovering the black hole at the center of our galaxy. And I'm sure you know about, actually, she turns out to be a longtime friend of mine, Jennifer Doudna, who won the Nobel Prize in chemistry, actually, for her pioneering work on CRISPR, which has changed modern biology. Just a brief anecdote about Jennifer. When I was at MIT, I worked with her husband and helped get some money for him to do his research. And she was at Yale at the time. So then we decided we should hire Jennifer and get her to move from Yale to MIT. And a terrible thing happened, which is that not only did she decline us, she and her husband Jamie moved to Berkeley. How could they do that, right? So I came here partly because I thought, if people that talented came to Berkeley, I should come as well. One of the things I really like about Berkeley is that is our students. Actually, that's my thing I like especially. I've just spoken about the faculty. So I co-teach a course, famous course, sometimes infamous, called Physics 7B, which is a sophomore physics course. And if you're majoring in engineering, you literally cannot get your engineering degree unless you pass our course. And it's a challenging course. And I co-teach it with Alessandra Lanzara, who's one of the leading experimental physicists in the country, originally from Italian. So she has a charming Italian accent. I'm Canadian, so maybe you can hear my Canadian accent too. And this is a huge class. There are more than 600 students, but we split them up first into groups of 200, and then we split them further into groups of about 20. And when I walk into the classroom with 200 students, I look out and I see rich kids, middle-class kids, poor kids, Black kids, white kids, Chicano kids. My heritage is actually Indigenous Canadian. I see some Indigenous people as well, male, female, transgender, etc. Berkeley looks like America. Now, one of the things I like particularly about Berkeley, and in contrast to students I've encountered at some of the rich private institutions, is our students are not entitled. This is an aspect of teaching at some of the elite privates. I also spent a lot of time at the other university in Cambridge, Mass, besides MIT. And a characteristic of many of those places is the students feel that some other, we all owe them. Berkeley students are not like that. Berkeley students are grateful to be at Berkeley. They enjoy being at Berkeley, and they're not full of themselves. I like that a lot. Now, I just told you about our Nobel Prize winners, and you might say, especially if you're familiar with how that works. Sure, but these are people that probably the same age as the Professor Birgeneau who's talking to you now. But what about the young faculty, right? What about the people who are closer to me in age, you might be thinking. So in preparation for this, I decided I should actually look at that. And so I have here some Cal statistics. And so some time ago, there's a foundation in New York called the Sloan Foundation, and they give awards to the best beginning professors in major universities across the United States. And they give them in a variety of fields. I was actually in charge for several years of the physics awardees. In other words, I got to pick who are the young physicists across the entire country who are most promising. So these are called Sloan Fellowships, and they're in physics and chemistry, cognitive science, neuroscience, economics, psychology, and a couple of other fields. So not everything, not the humanities, but major fields. So I looked up, and you can see it online yourself. So there's about 120 of these people in all fields who are going to university. So where did they go last year? Well, I wish I could say Berkeley was #1, but actually Stanford was first. So Stanford got 10 of these, and Berkeley got 9. MIT got 5, Princeton got 3, and Harvard got 3. So 19 of the top young professors in the entire United States came to the Bay Area, either Berkeley or Stanford, and that's a choice between public and private. So it's not just people of my generation, these are people who are in their late 20s and who are brilliant young people, and they will be teaching you. We have them teach the core courses, as I do as well, okay? So you will be exposed to, and this is an objective measure, not just coming from me, but from the Sloan Foundation. So, okay. So the other thing about, and I'll try and wrap up here, about Berkeley is that you all know this, our students are famous for having a social conscience. And you may or may not agree with a particular student's bent politically, but they will have an opinion and they will act on that opinion. And I take great pride in that. One of the things that we managed to accomplish during my time as administrator in a senior leadership role is we literally made Berkeley the first university in the United States to offer comprehensive financial aid to undocumented students. And that required, you couldn't just declare that, because when we started, it was actually against the law. So we literally had to get the law changed at the state level to allow us to give financial aid to undocumented students. And that required working with the Assembly, with the Senate, and ultimately with the governor. And we did that successfully. So, and of course, our students played a major role in helping us in that. So I'm very proud of that. We also are very sensitive to the financial needs that your parents are going to have or you will have. And so we also, here at Berkeley, we literally led the country in producing a comprehensive financial aid program for middle-class students in order to minimize the debt that you will have when you graduate. And I haven't kept up with all the numbers, but during my time as chancellor, among major publics, Berkeley, I think, was second lowest in terms of student debt on graduation. So we try to think about all of our students. So with that, let me just wrap up and say what everyone at Berkeley says, go Bears.
Thank you so much, Professor, for being here and for that wonderful welcome. Please, everybody, give him a virtual round of applause. Thank you so much for being here. We so appreciate it. And as you said, go Bears. It is professors like you that we get to learn from, and that's why Berkeley is so amazing. So we thank you so much. Now we're going to be transitioning, but if you...
Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
Professor, thank you so much.
And I hope you all come, every single one of you. Actually, I have to now admit something. I have a granddaughter on the waiting list, and she's desperate to get into Berkeley. That shows you how egalitarian it is. Even the chancellor's granddaughter doesn't get automatically admitted. So if one of you decides not to come, then maybe that'll open a spot. But all the rest of you need to come. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, Professor. he will be at professor office hours, which is going to be for parents. So for the parents that are watching on the live stream, you're going to get to ask him questions and get to know him better, but he is an amazing professor and we were so grateful to have him join us. As he said, Berkeley is a very welcoming place of all opinions, all backgrounds, and we hope that you find your place here as well. And just to kind of plug our organization again, the Cal Alumni Student Association, if you'd like to support us and help make this event and other events possible for future students, this year we did make the event free. We usually charge for this event. We wanted to make sure that everybody could access it because we know that it's hard for some people to travel to Berkeley or to get to know Berkeley. So if you'd like to support us, I would like to ask our finance director, Amy Tao, if she can drop the donation link in the chat. Thank you so much. If you'd like to support the Cal Alumni Student Association, any donation helps. So thank you for doing that in advance. One last thing, I want to mention that we do have a help desk. So if somebody from the staff can drop the help desk link in the chat right now, that'd be amazing. If you have any questions throughout the day, if you're not really sure about the schedule, oh, somebody said the live stream, oh, your parents can't get on the live stream link. Somebody just messaged me that. Can somebody take care of that and send out the live stream link in the chat, please? Okay. But I do want to mention that if you do need help with things like this, we do have a help desk going. Thank you for dropping that in chat. If you have any questions throughout the day, we do have a help desk. So somebody from our staff can drop that Zoom link in the chat as well. It's going to be populated with different staff members throughout the day. So if you're curious about the schedule, curious about a Zoom link, please go to that help desk. We'll be happy to help you throughout the day. One last thing, as you'll notice, we do have specific Zoom backgrounds for our staff. So it says CASA team members. So you'll be able to kind of distinguish us and figure out who we are. As well, the panelists, who are our student volunteers, also have backgrounds. So you'll also see that throughout the day. So just to kind of give you an idea. So we are going to end this session a little bit early. In that case, I think we can just move into breakout rooms, but how it's going to work is we're going to open breakout rooms. We're going to have it organized according to your bear pods. And if you didn't sign up for bear pods, no problem. But the first 36 groups, that's how many bear pod groups we have, are going to be for bear pods. So if you are in bear pod 5, please join breakout room 5. If you're in bear pod 10, please join breakout room 10. We're going to have staff members kind of trickling through to answer any questions you may have as well. But this is a time for you to socialize with other admitted students and get to know one another. Parents who are watching on the live stream, please join the session 2 Zoom session. We will be starting in a couple of minutes there. We're going to be transitioning over to there for parents, but students, stay here. We can have one of our staff people open up the breakout rooms. Can you please open up? Wonderful. Perfect. 45 breakout rooms. So students, again, as I mentioned, if you're in Bear Pod 29, join Bear Pod 29. Yes. And then if you're not in a bear pod, no problem. Just join one of the groups after from 37 and on.